Hello, good evening to you. I'm here again talking about another class that I promised you to present to you for these free English classes. Tonight we're going to talk about a very important tense called past simple. As you remember in our last class when we talked about the present simple form, you know that every person, every individual who's learning a new language needs to have the foundation, which is the grammar, right? Well, actually, there's 4 steps that I want you to be acknowledged. I want you to remember that there's 4 functions when it talks about grammar, which is the listening part, and I'm going to write it down over here so you can remember. The listening, the speaking abilities. Excuse me, let me just correct this part right here. The speaking, listen and speaking, and the grammar, listen and speaking, grammar, and comprehension. Right, these are I call it over here abilities. Now we actually working now with the grammar point over here, which is in the past simple form. Okay, please write these abilities right now. So every person who is interested in learning English must know this. All right. Go ahead and write this down because I'm going to erase it because I'm going to be talking about the past simple form tonight. All right, I'm going to give you like a minute to write this down first, and I'm going to leave this on. Erase this and we'll leave this on. Right? So write this down on your notebook. Taking notes. This is grammar. Right? This I call them steps also. Steps means steps. Alright? What do I call them steps? Okay, if you see a person, for instance, when you see a person walking, well, it's like this. If you see a person walking, like this, you notice that is walking, right? So this is a step. 1 step, 2 steps, and so forth. So that's what steps. Just remember one thing. No matter how much English you know, you're always going to start from day 1, right? We start with grammar. The foundation of our English, it starts with grammar, right? Then after grammar, after you know the basis, you will begin to use the speaking ability, then the listening part, then the comprehension, right? All of these steps are important for every individual who's interested in learning English, right? I'm going to erase this right here, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what the past simple works. When we talk about the past simple form is an event or an action taken in the past, right? If I say something in the past, well, you're going to change the verb. Remember I talked to you in our last class about the present simple form? Well, this time the subject changes. No, the subject stays the same, but the verb changes. The complement stays the same, right? You can say Bob is that guy's name. Bob worked. You see, Bob worked in a restaurant restaurant. See, Bob is the subject. Worked in a restaurant from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. Right. You see over here, Bob is the subject. Worked is the verb. In is a preposition. Remember that in every sentence we have to use prepositions. This is a preposition. I'm going to put right here, preposition. Right? The preposition indicates time or place, right? Where does Bob work? He works in a restaurant. We can make that question about what Bob does. We use the WH word right here. You say, where does Bob work? Yeah, because we want to get information about this guy, right? We want to know where Bob works. Our answer to this question is, you say, he works in a restaurant. See? A restaurant. Okay? Remember one thing. When we talk about the past simple form, the verb changes over here. Notice something, the pronunciation is very important. These two letters, E-D, sound like a T. So you say worked. Bob worked in a restaurant from 8 to 6 a.m. Say it right there. Say it after me. Bob worked in a restaurant from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. That means, but what? How long? How many days does Bob work? You can also say that question. How many days? How many days does Bob work? Yeah. You can say, well, he works. The answer is he works Monday through Friday. Excuse me, let me just write this Friday. See, it says the name right there. Okay? So in these words over here, we're getting information about what Bob does. Okay? He works in a restaurant from 8 to 6 a.m. Today, well, first of all, well, we have to get more specific information from him, right? But when, right? When? Today, Bob worked in a restaurant from 8 a.m. to 6 a.m. You say today, you can say today for last night. But we're not talking about the past, the present simple is last night. Last night, right here. Last night. Let me just correct this part right here. This is last night. Last night. See? Last night. All right. Every time we talk about the past simple form, we have to specify where he works and from what time to what time and where, which is last night, right? So okay, we have questions over here. Where does Bob work? He works in a restaurant. How many days does Bob work? He works Monday through Friday. See? If we want to convert all these questions in the past, where did Bob work last night? which will be where did Bob work last night? Where did he work last night? Okay, let me see. Night, yeah. So, notice over here that the answer is he worked, check this out, he worked 8 hours a day, right? He worked 8 hours a day. Now, if he works more hours than 8 hours, that means it's called overtime. Okay, I'm gonna put it right here. Overtime. That means that extra time that he decided to work at his job. Okay, that's called overtime. All right. Now, every time you use the past simple form, you may be able to use any verb that you could actually want to use in the past simple, right? For instance, I can say, I brought groceries from the store last night. I mean, I was out of food. I had to go to the grocery store to get more food because I went into my fridge and I noticed there was not any food in there. So I had to go to the store to get some groceries. I'm using past tense, right? So not only you can use the word work, you can use bring, play. I'm going to show you some of the verbs that you could use in the past simple, right? So you can use play. You can use bring. You can use drive, right? You can use ride. You can use sail. You can use get. See, all these verbs can be used in sentences. Okay, play, bring, drive, ride, sail, get. Now, repeat after me. Play, bring, drive, ride, sail, get. All right? Now, I may erase this part right here because I know you already copied this. All right? Notice that I could actually use any verbs when I'm using the past simple form. Right? Because I can use play, bring, drive, ride, sail, and get. Using the same structure, using the subject, verb, and seed. For those who don't know what the S stands for, I'm going to show you what it means. Subject means this is called a subject. And this one is the verb. And this one represents the complement of predicate. The complement. Okay? Subject, verb, and complement. Alright? Play, when we use this verse right here, I can say Mark played soccer last Monday. That's Monday morning. Right? That's a statement. That's not a question, right? Mark played soccer last Monday morning. Again, I have to explain to you that many students sometimes make a mistake not pronounce the verb correctly. You have to, in this case, in this particular case, you have to be careful with ed. It sounds like a D. Remember in the last sentence we saw? All right, worked with D, but this verb ends with a D. Played. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to show you how it sounds, like this. Played, like this. Played, right? But is it correct to have it like that? It's not correct to have it like that. See, but it's played. All right. So Mark played soccer last Monday morning. What would be the question for this statement? Where did he? You don't have to put the name all the time. You can use a pronoun like a he. Where did he play? Where did he play soccer? Where did he play soccer? Okay? So, the answer is, we don't know actually where he played soccer. Mark played soccer last Monday morning. Where did he play soccer? And we can specify saying, well, he played soccer at the park. Okay? Yeah. So we gotta get enough information for the first statement. See? You can also play, for instance, say, how many hours did he play soccer? See, how many hours? How many hours did he play? Right? Yeah. For 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, etc. Right? That's how much information you get from him. And so that's why it's important to really know that every tense that we use, we have to really get enough information to know what this person does, right? So let me just go ahead and copy this one right here. You may have, we say, for instance, let me just go all over again right here. Mark played, repeat after me. Now, you guys that are watching, it's important to really work on your pronunciation. Mark played soccer last Monday morning. Repeat after me. Mark played soccer last Monday morning. You want to get more information about where he played soccer? You ask a question. Where did he play soccer? Repeat after me. Where did he play soccer? Answer. He played soccer at the park. Okay? How many hours did he play? He played 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. You say, he played. Now, when you say he played, you use this expression right here. He played, and you go 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. He played, see that little arrow? Like this. He played 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Got it? Yes? You can continue getting as much information as you can get from him, right? You can say, for instance, like, who did he play with? This is 1 question, 2 questions, 3, 4. The next one is, who did he play with? You see? I'm using prepositions. These are called prepositions. Okay? With, oh yes. At is another preposition right here. See? Okay, the answer to this question would be, he played with his friends. Okay? Alright. So we have question, the first statement is, Mark played soccer last Monday morning. Then, number 2, where did he play soccer? He played soccer at the park. How many hours did he play? He played for 1, 2, 3 hours. The word hours is written like this. Hours. Yes. Very good. You see, that's exactly how I wanted to explain it. Because the more information you get out of this person, the more confident you feel yourself speaking to another person. And then once you know the foundation of the grammar part, as I mentioned to you, the 4 abilities that every student must be aware of, the listening, the learning ability, and the comprehension, right? The speaking ability. All those abilities are important. And they all are used to make you feel confident when you speak in English. All right? So, play, bring, drive, ride, sell, get. Now, I already given you 2 examples using the past simple form, right? I can give you, we're going to do one more example out of these 6, 2, 4, 6, and then we're going to move on with our next topic, which will be present simple, present progressive. All right? Are you finished? Copy this on the board? All right. Okay, so I want you to keep taking notes because you might be able to remember it all. Okay, just a second. Excuse me. Now we use, for instance, bring right here. This example over here is bring, right? Which means like what does bring mean? Okay, that's when you actually bring is like you bring something to your family, to your friend, to your brother, sister. Bring means like bring an object, bring a box, bring something to a person. I'm going to explain to you how this one works, right? So for instance, Jane, this one doesn't really work. The other one right here. Jane brought candies from the store. Jane brought candies from the store for the family. For the family. Okay. Now we have a sentence over here. Jane is the subject. Brought is the irregular verb. Right? This is the verb. Candice is the noun. Noun, right? From is a preposition. Remember I talked to you about prepositions? Preposition. This, the letter P is an article. And then here we have another preposition which is called for, which is a prep. And the rest of them is the complement. Okay? Now, in order for me to know what Jane does, I have to ask questions. Yeah? Base number 1 is over here. We have to know, I have to get information from her. Jane is a female's name. Jane is a girl. And I'm gonna like this. See? It's a girl. Jane brought candies from the store for the family. If I want to change this to a question, it would end up like this. Number 2. See. What did Jane bring from the store? What did Jane bring from the store? Yeah, that's the question. What did Jane bring from the store?
she brought candies. I'm just gonna kind of like simplify the sentence that we have up here. Just that she brought candies. She brought candies. All right. Number 4. Number 4. How much did she? How much did she pay for the candies? The for pay is money, right? Pay for the candies. Candies. Okay? The answer would be she paid $10 each. No, $10 for $10 for. She paid $10. She paid $10, right? $10. Okay?
Very good. So, I just give you 3 examples using the past simple form with the subject, verb, and the complement. Okay? These examples are important for you to remember because that's how you're going to use your English. Once you know the information from the first time, you will be able to come up with some more questions and then answers. So that's how it is. I highly advise you to really remember and practice the regular and irregular verbs, right? Like play, bring, drive, write, sell, and get. Okay? So I hope you have copied these examples. I'm going to show you a different tense, right? These are called, as a matter of fact, these are called tenses. Tenses. Right here, tenses. All right? You may review one other time. Jane brought candies from the store for the family. What did Jane bring from the store? She brought candies. How much did she pay for the candies? She paid $10. All right? That's how you work with the past simple form. Okay, so I'm going to erase these examples. I hope you have copied those examples. Okay. Very good. Now, I want to show you something, how you can improve your English in a fastest way. Right. First of all, excuse me, I'm going to show you, this one doesn't work. If you want to use the past simple form, you can also create stories. This one's the same one as this one. For instance, you can actually think about, for instance, like create a story about using the past simple form. Okay? For instance, you can say, I can give you for examples of when a person has to really express himself in the past, right? You can use several different verbs. You can use, for instance, start, get, go, say, do, take, try, study, jump, play, read, eat, clean, wash, buy, finish, etc. See those verbs right here? You have to change into the past. For instance, I could say, I got up early in the morning. See? Get means I got. Get, got. Okay? I got up early in the morning. I washed my hands. I ate breakfast. Breakfast. I ate breakfast. I brushed my teeth. Brushed my teeth. Got dressed. And I went to school. I took my first class, which was math. Then I took chemistry. Then after that, was English. Then I went home. Yes? Notice that this little like diary is all in the past. I got up early in the morning. I washed. Position washed my hands. I ate breakfast. I brushed my teeth, got dressed, and I went to school. I took my first class, which was math. Then I took chemistry. Then after that was English. Then I went home. All this story was created in the past. Okay? Past simple. All right. So, you see these verbs right here? You can change it to the past, right? You can, for instance, create a story about, for instance, I'm going to give you one more example. This is pretty much an activity that every one of us, every student must learn. Activity number one. Activity number one. Well, I put it right here. Yes? Let me give you another example of using, for instance, another activity right here. Excuse me. More over here. In this case, I can use clean, for instance. See? Clean. I have my clothes in a dirty bag. Excuse me. Mistake. I'm sorry. Let me do like this. In a laundry bag. I have my clothes in a laundry bag.
I have to do my laundry today.
See, I have to do my laundry today.
Therefore, I have to go to the laundromat. Laundromat.
The laundromat is where you wash your clothes, right?
Mat. So I also have to clean the house. Okay? The bathroom, the living room, the dining room, comma, the patio, and the front porch, front porch, the backyard, okay, and then I have to sweep. One of the biggest mistakes I have is that I write too fast. I have to sweep and mop. Okay?
Now, every time you write a story like this, make sure you write the date when you wrote it, right? For example, I could say I wrote this story on Monday.
Then the date, fecha, like on Monday, 2019, at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m. See?
This one, I wrote this one on Tuesday.
At 10 a.m. 2019.
Two different stories, right? When you practice your writing, because I remember I told you about the 4 abilities that every student has to have. The writing part is so important, so vital. In fact, when you begin to learn how to write English, you're gonna make it a habit out of it. I mean, it's like every other day you will be interested in writing what's happening to you, all the events that are happening, right? Maybe you're walking in the street and you saw an accident, right? And you create a story. You keep tracking of all the events of things that are happening or happened in the past, because you actually can do this in the present, which I didn't actually explain to you in our last class. But these stories are all made up in the past. Yeah, so there are diaries in the present simple form, and there are diaries in the past simple form. Yes, and that's how you create stories like this, basically. Alrighty, so we're gonna finish our class today. As I just mentioned, the more you get used to writing English, the more you get used to reading English, you're going to be able to speak English so good that your friends will notice, and they will actually see the improvement that you have in the English language. We may continue on our next class. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming to your English class. I hope to see you next time. Till then, bye-bye.